Well, Dongy, it is that time of the week where we're going to talk about AFL, our favourite sport in the world, and we're going to talk a little bit about what has just occurred in the Community Marsh Series for 2020. We're going to talk about each of our separate teams, the Doggies, the Dons. How did we go? How did we fare against our lineups? And more importantly, what are we excited for in about a week's time?
Well, it's a little under 2 weeks.
Little under 2 weeks.
10 days?
10 days?
10 days?
I can hardly wait.
Thursday.
I can hardly wait.
It's been a long 6 months.
It has been.
However many months it is.
It has been. It has been a while. I've really missed footy.
Yeah. March series, Dogs did alright,
They did.
Tried a few things. I think you said you did. The Dons did better than what you think.
Yeah, 100% they did. Couple of reasons why I think that. The first reason is our list availability is pretty poor compared to other clubs. Because you guys have got a close to full list, don't you?
We've had a few more injuries ever since we chatted about it about a month ago. I think we've had a few more injuries there. So I saw our injury list. It had about 6 or 7, anywhere between 6 to 9 names, which is more than I think should be there, or more than I thought. But either way, our key players aren't injured.
That's the main thing.
And we're going to get a good side out there round 1,
I think so.
And good for the whole season, which is stark contrast to what you guys have.
Yeah, we've really had to look towards this year with our depth options. And a lot of our senior players, aren't fully fit. A lot of them went for surgeries in the postseason. And so for the preseason, we haven't had that strong of a senior list. Dyson Heppel was in my gym only a couple of months ago, nursing his leg injury. Also, one-legged freak. No, we love him. He was at the gym. Had a good chat to him. He's a lovely guy. Now he's shaved off his beautiful Goldie locks.
Dreadlocks, which
his
he's
beautiful
had
Goldie
since
locks.
Drafted, right?
One of my close friends, yes, he has.
Yeah.
And now that Daisy Thomas is no longer in the competition, we essentially have no more Daisy Thomas lookalikes as well. No. I think maybe Bailey Smith might be closest to that. Closest. But really, no.
Aaron Norton's growing his out.
He is a little bit, yeah.
But he's I don't think he's at Bailey Smith's level.
No, not quite. They are beautiful. They are beautiful long gold locks. But a couple of people have said to me, Heppel looks more like a leader now, looks more like a captain, looks less like a teenager. And I can kind of agree.
Yeah, he's always looked like that.
Surfer, bro.
Yeah,
hey, down at Kelly
Beach,
Beach,
bro.
bro.
He was drafted, and he's like, how old is he now?
He
27, 28.
Yeah, he might be to the latter end of his 20s. But as a leader, I could probably take a guy a little more seriously if he has a level 1 cut.
He looks more of like a serious footballer now, which is it's not like he wasn't a serious footballer. It's just like, you look at this kid, you're like, oh, Jesus, this is still a kid.
Still a kid.
Yeah.
But now
he looks quite imposing.
Revered leader. I like our leadership group this season. I think that's a positive. Last season
there was
we had
a surprise
people,
omission there, I think.
Yeah, you're talking about the kale mix, Kale Slaw. I'm surprised about him.
Michael
not
Hurley
being there.
as well, is he in there?
I think Hurley.
Zaharakis as well.
Zaharakis is in there, but Zach Merritt I don't think's in there, and I was a little bit surprised that Zach Merritt wasn't in there, to be honest, because I do see him as a leader on the field.
On the field, definitely. He's the one that creates most of your opportunities.
He does.
He's the one that gets you going. If he's having a good night, then you are more likely to win.
He does. Yeah. So the leadership group at the moment is Devon Smith, Dylan Schill. So you got your 2 GWS players there. David Zaharakis deserves to be in there. Dyson Heppel, obviously. Michael Hurley as well. So that rounds out the leadership group. If we look at it last year, though, it was Zach Merritt, Joe Danaher, Orazio Fantasia. So straight off the bat, 2 players that were looking to get trades last trade period. Both didn't get any successful ones going.
Sydney Football Club.
Sydney and Port Adelaide there. And then you got Dyson Heppel and David Myers, which is a little bit in and out of the team. So that's not a great leadership
boy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a experience, even though he was not on the park a lot.
That's right. So I like what we've done in the off season with those leaders. Those guys are leaders to me. Devon Smith, a little bit surprised about. I didn't think Dylan Shill was as vocal as I would have thought, but he's there and good on him. He's clearly been doing the right kind of things around the group. So I feel a little bit more safer if we're in a bit of a dire situation on the field. For example, against the Doggies last year, if we had had a more stronger leadership group, it might have been a different story. We may have been able to turn it around, but
we lost by 10 rather than 10 goals
50,
rather than whatever it was by the end of it.
So I think it's a good leadership
I think
group.
the Doggies are going quite all right, quite fine. In terms of leadership, we had Easton Wood step down as captain, which I think was an inevitability.
Yeah.
It was either this year or next year. I think Bont's finally wants to take over. He's 24. Most of the boys are around him, or if not all of the boys are around him. He wants to be the figurehead of his club. He wants to be the poster boy.
Of course he wants to be.
His vice is
He's a
Lockie
handsome-looking
Hunter.
guy. Lockie Hunter.
Lockie Hunter, which is he's a hard worker. Might get a bad rap by his kicking's not all great. Just kind of puts it up there.
It's a funny kind of angle he creates.
Yeah, but he accumulates when he's
he's
effective. He's really effective. One of the best wingers in the AFL, in my opinion. Probably him and Bradley Hill. Probably close second behind Bradley Hill.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah,
Brings a lot of
St Kilda's got a good one there. Who else? I haven't been checking out with the leadership group. I'll do that right now.
Yeah. Well, I think that it sounds like there's a good balance there. I still need to see what Bont's going to be like as a leader within that group as the main guy who's having stern messages to the team. He does seem like a gentle sort of guy, so we'll see how much of that inner flair comes out when he is there. But it looks like the 6-man leadership group includes Hunter, Wood, Jason Johannesson, Mitch Wallace. I like that.
Mitch Wallace.
And a new addition, Joshy Dunkley.
Which he's in his 4th season, 16, 17, 18, 19.
He was pretty young in your premiership side. Yeah,
that was his first year playing, and then last few years. So for the last 2 years, he's won our Most Improved Player award, which winging that back to back is quite an improvement. So he's improved kind of like tenfold since the player he was since we last won the premiership.
I know
he's kind of turned into this contested ball beast that accumulates whilst also being able to kick goals. Even though his kicking action is much to be desired.
It certainly is. Something in the Dunkley family about kicking actions.
He's a fine kick, I think. He's not one of the best kicks out there, but I think he gets a bad rep from the commentators just because of his dad.
Yeah,
I think he's a fine kick. He doesn't shank it that much.
No. I think he's perfectly fine, and I think last year he was noticeably better. Yeah. Like, I mean, you could just see the kind of physicality that he's got now, and I think
he wants to be in that role, Yeah. And he's forcing these guys like Mitch Wallace, Liberatore to a certain extent, Toby McLean to really earn their spot because he's already blown past him. He's already a starting midfielder. He's really putting the pressure on him to compete for spots, And when he goes forward, one of these guys got to step into his role as this contested player, and he's done nothing but improve.
It's incredible. I need to ask you though, Tom Liberatore. I just it fascinates me with his situation at the moment. I mean, he's 27 years old. He had that terrible injury a couple of seasons ago, round 1 against the Giants, and hasn't really been able to be on the park as consistently recently. Where's he tracking this season? Did he play the community series?
No, I think he's injured. Just either rest or knee, whatever you put it up to. On the medical
Didn't go to back to Vietnam this season?
Nah, didn't.
Pre-season over
there.
I
heard he's quite responsible nowadays. He's got 2 kids.
He does.
Yeah, he just got another kid named Oscar. But he's quite I'd say his best football's behind him. Wouldn't you say that?
I would have to say
he's done his second knee, so being out in the park, you'd be lucky to get 15 games out of him. And I think in the past, especially in our premiership year and the year after, we were really dependent on him to get our contested ball game going.
Yeah, big time.
Every time something happened, it'd be on the back of a Liberatore esque scramble, contested ball, whatever you want to call it. And then I think we're trying to get away from that, and we have towards the back end of last year when we had that run, we were doing that because he wasn't playing that much. I think he only played about half those games or most of those games. He wasn't playing in his role. He was kind of playing as a shutdown and forward.
Yep.
And so now we got to be able to learn to live with that, because it's not that I'm taking him for granted. I'd say if he's there, great, but we're probably going to get 10 to 15 games out of him for the season.
I agree.
Just to manage his career.
Correct.
Because we want to
I want him for a few more seasons, and his experience is
every
important.
single game.
No, I agree, and you've got enough of a really talented brigade of midfielders coming through who need more game time.
Got Bont, McRae, and Dunkley as a top three. As a starting midfielder.
Irresistible.
I mean,
it's irresistible.
You've got Geelong, who have got Ablett, Dangerfield, Selwood go through there.
Yeah.
Ablett probably should play forward.
Jack Stevens.
Stevens now, yeah. Yeah,
I tell you what, him and Bailey Smith could have a bit of a mullet off, a bit of a long hair off. I reckon. They both, they both got the same style,
Yeah, don't be chasing too close. You might get
bit of whiplash.
Bit of wind.
Bit of whiplash there. Smack.
Yeah, so I'm very excited for this upcoming season.
Oh, you should be. And a little confirmation about Tom Liberatore. It says knee injury 4 to 5 weeks as of probably a couple of days ago. So it does sound like, he won't be playing round one.
We haven't really heard anything on the AFL media side.
Oh, 6 days ago. Yeah. 6 days ago. So
Western Bulldogs media, haven't updated us much on Libba. So I tend to think that's just a placeholder for just managing his load.
Yeah, I think so. But
he might
still good to have around the group.
But it might just be like a touch and go type of situation. JJ, I hear he's had a wonderful pre-season. Pretty much hasn't missed a beat. Yeah.
Wow.
Played a very good. Yeah, played a very good first half in the All-Stars game.
He did, man. He was electrifying. But he played for the All-Stars, didn't he? Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
What
is his state of origin? Is it South Africa?
Yeah.
That's the state of origin. Very good. Yeah. But when he moved to Australia, was he Victorian? WA, there you go. Yeah. So that's that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it was rookie listed from WA.
Wow, there you go.
So, yeah.
No, I think he'll be exciting because, last season you can't say he was anywhere near his best.
No, and it's that thing. Like, we don't want... we do want these individuals to perform well, but we don't want to be relying on it. You know, I think besides Bontempelli, who if he's on, he'll wreck your team. But we want to be a good team that doesn't really depend on one each player. And that there was a certain significance towards that in 2016. There was a similar feeling. We just want to get back to what that was and improve on it.
Exactly. You've got the talent there, mate. You've got the talent. You've got the coach.
Well, the thing is, the media is propping us up to be a top 4 team, even a top 2 team.
They are.
In some circles.
They are.
But as a Bulldog diehard knows, anytime the media props us up, we are bound to fail. But the whole thing with this whole new era with Luke Beveridge, we want to be a contending team. We got to be able to embrace that. We got to be able to play to our own strengths.
Correct.
And not worry about any other teams, because I think the Bulldogs in the past played so negatively. It's like, how do we stop that? How do we stop Dangerfield? How do we stop Michael Shooter, all those big guys that can monster us? Now we're just like, let's see if they can stop Aaron Norton.
Exactly.
Let's see if they can stop the Bond.
See if they can stop your really gun players. I mean, the thing is, I gotta give a lot of credit to your recruiting staff the last couple of years. I mean, finding players like Sam Lloyd and Hayden Crozier, who were, you'd have to say, were struggling to get games at their respective clubs. Yeah.
That's quite...
Yeah, kind of like this Freo sort of fringe player. No,
he just came free scraps from Freo.
Yeah. When it happened. Sam Lloyd I always thought had talent. I mean, he kicked that winning goal against Sydney as a Richmond player, superstar.
into that Richmond team?
Oh, right now, very difficult. But he's done an extraordinary good job. Now he is, a mainstay in that forward line.
Yeah.
And then, this season, you fixed your two ends of the ground. You got a guy called Josh Bruce who has shown how valuable he is in the red, white, and blue in the Marsh series. He's going to be even better.
You mix him into the forward line, which excelled towards the latter half of last season, and then you've got a very, very scary looking forward line.
You do, and he barely misses Bruce, and he's really got
except
sticky
for the
hands.
time in the goal square.
Yes, yeah. Don't give him too much extra space to run into a goal square in Tasmania. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
But then also,
just don't fly him down there.
I think so. It's crazy. And then you've got someone called Alex Keefe who's at the other end of the ground who really came out and he had his breakout season last season because he was an ex-cricketer.
Yeah, I'm quite a bit. Let's wait and see about Alex Keefe.
I think so.
Some media pundits will say that he was the Adelaide's best defender. I'm like,
they did have a couple of injuries though, Adelaide. So they were missing, probably Brodie Smith, and then I think even Rory Laird wasn't quite at his best last season.
Nah.
So I agree.
I think some of these names were being propped up as trade bait. We know Adelaide had a full-on, I don't know,
mass exodus.
If you had to classify a club having a mental breakdown,
that was one of them, mate.
Yeah.
I can't believe how many senior coaches they've had over the last couple of years. They've had heaps. They have had heaps.
So, and it's just So if he's, I hope he's a great pickup. And I
hope he is too. He kind of looks like a Tim English's brother, doesn't he? Tim English's brother. It's crazy.
His big brother that's shorter than him.
That's a lot shorter, but more stocky.
Not that he is short. It's just Tim English is so tall.
and he's very skinny. When you see him in real life, you go, "Wow, okay." There's not much to him, but one day he's a scary prospect if he puts a couple of kegs on.
He's gone very well.
That's good.
Big Tim.
That's good.
The kid.
He does look more muscular.
And it's his fourth season, I think.
Yeah.
And it's pretty rare for fourth season ruckmen to really break into their mold, Brodie Gundy took more than 5 years.
Oh yeah, big time.
6 years. He was a bit of a laughing joke before then.
It was kind of like who was going to get there first out of these two big Collingwood ruckmen. Was it going to be him or was it going to be Jared Witts? And I mean, you can see who won that race pretty clearly.
But Witts won was first in the competition.
He was
tip outs.
He was. He was Collingwood's number one ruckman there for a little while.
But, I think Grundy edged him out on the athleticism point of view. So. They got a W there, but if Witts were playing, if the roles were switched, I don't know.
Witts did enough, and tap outs. That's an important stat to win.
Hopefully Tim English can do well. Hopefully the rest of the team can do well.
Who's your other ruckman? Sorry, besides Tim English, who?
Trengrove.
Trengrove. Okay.
I say this with a question mark.
Yeah. Tom Campbell's not on your list anymore.
No, he's on the North Melbourne list.
Oh wow, really? Gosh,
we got a
desperation there by
Jordan
North.
Sweet, who's
Sweet.
I think he's got enough talent and is good enough. He just doesn't have a tank to run out the whole game. Is what I hear. So don't quote me on everything.
Because I mean, the Doggies really excelled when there was you could have a third man up. They nailed that.
After that, you got what? Josh Bruce, Josh Shecky, Aaron Norton playing ruck. I wouldn't put Aaron Norton in the ruck.
You wouldn't put Bontempelli in the ruck now that he's captain either.
No.
He's done that a few times. You get scared every time. You hold your breath. You hold your breath as a Bulldog supporter.
Imagine Brodie Grundy running that kid down.
Oh, he'd be open to it.
Yeah.
Nice big knee.
Yeah, let's talk about the Bombers. Who's exciting for you?
Well, there's a little bit of a background story behind this, Dongy. So, at the place that I work at part-time, I wrap burritos, and there's this one guy that comes in. He's an incredibly charismatic Richmond supporter, and we always talk about Richmond. But he knows I'm a Bomber supporter, and he knows that Essendon acquired a lot of the Richmond coaches, Blake Caracella, Ben Rutten, good strategic coaches, Damien Hardwick's right-hand men. Now, the thing is, he said to me, he kept singing the praises of a guy called Jacob Townsend. And he kept going, Jacob Townsend should still be on the Richmond list. He got delisted, and then he was picked up very, very late by the Bombers. Very late. And I think the Richmond staff obviously said to the Bomber list managers, Adrian Dodoro, he goes, listen, Jacob can play. Jacob is a hard-bodied midfielder when he has to fill that role.
He played in the Premiership in 2017.
He played in the Premiership in 2017. In fact, he played very well. And on the build-up to Richmond's Premiership in that year, he managed to get a gig. And he kicked 6 goals, I think, in his first match against Fremantle. He's kicking most goals in the competition leading into that final series and killed it. And so even when the following season, 2018, he played round 1, played extremely well, and then he just went... Well, I don't know if he went missing, Dongy. I think he might have just been out of favour with some of the other players on that list. Your Shai Bolton's coming through, your Sydney Stacks.
Maybe he wasn't quite the tool that Hardwick was looking for.
Maybe. There's a lot of like-for-like players in that side, really hard-bodied mids, put a lot of tackling pressure. So I think...
got a lot of halfbacks in that side.
Yeah. And in fact, that's actually an issue Essendon now. We've got a lot of backmen, but we'll get to that in a second. But... I'm really excited for Jacob because I think what he'll bring a lot of really...
He's your link man? Is your link man or your finisher?
I think he's a finisher when he goes up forward, but I think he's actually a hard ball getter and a pressure tackler, kind of like a Devon Smith when he's in the midfield. So he's going to bring a lot more physicality. Would you play him on a wing? He might be quick enough to go on a wing, so maybe I would consider it. But I think he's a hard inside body mid. But I also think he's a finisher up forward. So we've got a lot of options with him, and he's physical. So he's going to actually add a bit more of an edge to our midfield. Jack of all trades. I think he is. I think he's going to be a big player. Another guy who I really like, Brandon Zerk-Thatcher.
I've not heard of that name until just now.
21-year-old, quite tall, beautiful eyebrows, very thick eyebrows. Yeah. And he's played today. He played on Tom Hawkins, and he also played on Asaba Radaglia. He kept Hawkins to 1 goal, 7 disposals, and then played on Radaglia, and he didn't do anything. So
he's a defender.
And he's a lockdown defender, and he's quite tall. I don't know if he's as physical yet, but he's good running.
Does this free Hurley up to be either interceptor or even a forward?
Yes, I think so. Donny. Maybe, I don't know if I'd give him that much trust at this stage, but then again, you think about Dustin Fletcher when he began, he was getting some of the best forwards in the game, like your Modras and your Locketts. So, he might be one of those guys
Alex Keith hasn't even played 50 games, I don't think.
And he was getting locked down, big players
and he's,
everywhere.
Yeah, he's locking down players.
Yeah.
And you just release your next best offensive player. Yeah.
It's a smart option. And when you're that young, it's like you're just going to keep growing in confidence. Yeah, you're going to get beaten some weeks, but you're getting the opportunities. Now, Kale Hooker's out for 5 to 8 weeks with a hip injury, so I'm thinking
probably
Thatcher's going to play round 1.
Yeah. And I think Hurley's probably going to be the centre half back to his fullback.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. He's going to be the leader.
Comes back.
Yeah.
Hooker might even come back. When he comes back, might be a forward.
But I feel like we might be Richmond-like this season. We might play more small forwards.
Got an Irving mosquito.
Irving, I like Irving, man. I really like the mosquito.
He didn't get a look in last year.
He didn't get a look.
He scores a goal.
Yeah, that's what he's like on the radar. Like, we know he's there, but he's not exactly getting picked up like a big blip, But last season, I think he might have played a game. Oh no, he was named for his debut, but he didn't debut. I think he was meant to play against Hawthorn later on in the season. Didn't get picked, but listen, he's very exciting. He's kind of like another Anthony McDonald, Tip and Woody type, you know. He's small, he's agile, he kicks goals.
Got a bit of a mosquito for you then.
We we do, mate. We do. I love him. And the thing was, I think he was meant to go to Hawthorn as a, I don't know if it was a father-son or something, or some kind of relation. But anyway, we picked him up. Hawthorn, might have been. Anyway, Hawthorn said no. We said yes. I still think he doesn't have a tank yet. Is
that why you
probably...
think he has to play?
Yeah. But I reckon second half of the season, if he's got good form in the VFL, he'll play. And I think he deserves it if he gets there. And who knows, our stocks might be depleted, so we might need him.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about those guys. And Is there anyone else I'm excited about? McKernan's still very hot.
Devon Smith's back.
Devon Smith's back.
Yeah,
He looks good.
when he's in your side, you look like a much better midfield.
We do.
That you can actually.
He's a tackle
might not be
machine.
the best midfield out there, but at least it's able to compete with the best ones.
Yeah. I think we've got a really good rounded list if we can get everyone on the park.
It's about getting everyone on the park.
It's about getting everyone on the park, man. We're not fully fit. That's what worries me about round one. A lot of my friends who are Essendon supporters don't think we can make finals. I think we can make finals. I think we've got a good enough coaching staff and there's a good understanding from the players. I think this season what we're going to aim to do is be more consistent with our games because the gap between our best and the gap between our worst is huge. It's huge. It's massive.
It's massive.
It's massive. And
it's quite large.
And yours has slimmed, which is good.
Slimmed. Our worst was pretty shit though.
We
did lose to Carlton.
Season. You did. And Gold Coast at home.
That was the last game they won. And then they lost everything.
That was everything else. Yeah, I know. So look who's laughing now. That's true.
They won like the first 3 games by like under 5 points.
That's true.
And then I was so ready to be 3-0. Oh, and I'm like, fuck off.
I know. What the hell, man? You're right. So the gaps in Essendon's play, very inconsistent. So I think we're trying to build a consistent style of play. We were over handballing at one stage last season, but this season we've slimmed down a little bit on that. We're not exactly elite kicking yet, but we are using the handball chain a lot more when we run through the ground. And some of our complete plays in the Marsh series, if you go back and watch the tapes, everyone, they look pretty good. So I think the signs are good. I'm excited. I think we performed, you said at the start of the show, you said, okay, have Essendon performed better than what you thought? I said yes. I think they have. They've performed better with the list that we have, the availability of players we have.
And I think every team approaches their preseason differently.
I agree.
I think for the Bulldogs, we're just fucking around. Not fucking around, but we were just trying things.
Yeah. Getting players on the park, see what works.
I think Essendon were more of the stance of being like, let's try to play how we're meant to play.
Exactly.
And go from there.
Because I think the problem was we haven't taken any of this seriously.
This is the excuse for what I say because we lost to Port Adelaide.
But it wasn't by much though.
No. We were 20 points up with about 10 minutes to go and then we just kind of...
And it's like these results don't go anywhere, so it's like, it's whatever.
So yeah, the teams that win be like, yeah, we're going well. What we're doing seems to be working. Teams that lose be like, oh, it's just preseason. We're just trying out a few things. So that's the excuse.
Work. Yeah. It's funny how they work.
You really don't know until about 4 rounds in.
I agree. And there have been
even by halfway point of the season, it's kind of like, well, let's see if they can pick it up.
Exactly. I mean, there are some years where you get to round 6 and you still don't know, and you just kind of you're like, oh, these teams are doing well, but can they consistently do that? So we'll know maybe round 4 plus, but I'm pretty happy with Essendon's performances. I think we haven't taken this stage seriously in the past. We got to round 1 last year. We got thrashed, beaten out of the park by GWS, and I thought we could have used that pre-season a little bit more wisely. So I think we've done it well. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
We've run out of time.
We have run out of time. But I'm looking forward to round 1, Doggy. It's going to be an absolute belter. Let's do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.